Hi everybody, it's Josh. I'm here in dark mode for no apparent reason to talk about games that I'm currently playing. To be more specific, today it's going to be games that I am currently playing on Nintendo Switch. These are all games that I own physically and am playing on the Switch right now. Yes, I often, always am playing multiple games. That's just that's part of my pathology, is that even though I do have a game I am obsessively playing right now, you'll see one of these is at the top of the heap, and I'm playing it the most. It's just the nature of the way I play. I'm in the summer now. I have a little more elbow room. Also, I'm looking for a new job. So I play more, and I just, my method is to hop from title to title, and I usually have a few things going at once. And I have 3 titles that I really am having a great time with currently that I wanted to highlight here for all of you. If you have a Switch, these are games that are available. They're all 3 of them on store shelves right now. Sometimes I'll mess with Limited Run or something like that, because I enjoy having physical copies of games on my shelf as little trophies. But these are all games you could probably walk into a Best Buy or a Target or Walmart or something like that and find these games. So here we go. In no particular order, but I'm going to build up to the game that I'm obsessed with. This first game is called Disney's Illusion Island. And this is developed by a company called D-Lala. I believe that's how you say that. And they are known for previously making a retro style but new game, a remake in the Battletoads franchise. And it's a very nice game. This is they refer to it in their marketing copy as an accessible Metroidvania. Now that's a lot of video game marketing buzzwords. Accessible means it's easy, or it can be easy. In this case, I think it's designed from the ground up to be easy, but it also has features that you can tweak to make it easier depending on the age or the ability or the interest of the person playing the game. Now, I'm going to go on a little side tangent about that because I feel pretty strongly about accessibility and assist modes and easy modes in games. But the Metroidvania part, that is just a very, to quote Paul F. Tompkins, a clumsy portmanteau of the entire name of the game Metroid, and then half of the name of the franchise and game Castlevania. And basically it means a game of exploration, usually 2-dimensional. It doesn't have to be, I don't think, but it's a game of exploration and platforming and action where there is a map that has to be explored and opened up, and oftentimes portions of the map are blocked off until you can get a certain ability or item or upgrade of some kind. And then as the story unfolds, you open the whole map. So this is how the game Metroid works, but that's an action shooting sci-fi game. And then meanwhile, the game Castlevania has you exploring a castle or a mansion or something, and opening a map up as you go. Train break. This game is a Metroidvania strictly in the sense of a map and exploration. There is no combat in this game. You avoid enemies by jumping over them and trying to avoid peril, but you don't have any weapons and you don't fight. So this is a Disney game, as I mentioned, and the title Illusion Island is an allusion with an A to the previous classic Disney games, which all had the word illusion in them. These were games like Castle of Illusion and Legend of Illusion, World of Illusion, these classic Disney kind of character platformer games that were on the old pixel-based systems. This is not a direct sequel or in the lineage of those. It's just paying tribute to them in the title. And this is an indie-developed game, but with a Disney license that has a very delightful cartoon style, although I have to say, I keep seeing everybody state as fact that this game uses the art style from the current Mickey Mouse shorts that Disney has been putting out for the past 5 or 6 years or whatever. The style of the new ride, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at the parks. This game is not in that style. This is a unique style. It's a new style. It's a charming style. It's very simplified. It's not the same style from those shorts. Those shorts are excellent, by the way. If you like Disney cartoons and wish that the shorts were actually funny, check out those recent Mickey Mouse shorts. They're on Disney Plus, and I think there's some on YouTube and elsewhere. So it's a licensed game. which means that from a business standpoint, especially being a Disney property, they want to sell the most titles possible, and so they're promoting this as an accessible Metroidvania, and that basically means it's not too hard. And that is true. This is a very easy and forgiving game, even out of the box. You can then on top of that enable some assist features. You can make your characters invincible, but it's designed to be enjoyed by the greatest number of people possible. So what that means is, what it boils down to is how good is the actual game? Would anybody want to play this? Because that's how I feel about difficulty. I know that there's a culture, a gamer culture of, get good, and games are only good when they're tough as nails and challenging and old school difficulty. As I've mentioned before, go on my channel and watch my video game journey video. I do not have a history with video games. I didn't grow up playing hard, tough as nails video games. So for me, the allure and the appeal of video games is not getting back to some ideal of challenge back when I was a kid and I had, endless time to spare and I could play, and you could only own one or two games, so you got really good at them. I have way too many games and I have limited time to play them. And I'm not interested in getting frustrated. There have been a couple of games that were extremely difficult, but also good enough that I applied myself to beat them with no assist mode or cheats or mods or anything like that. And there's a few of them, but the two main ones were Hollow Knight, which is another Metroidvania game, which has very, very challenging combat. And the other one is Cuphead, which is an incredibly difficult run and gun platforming game. And I beat both of those games 100% plus, just based on how good they are. But I'm proud of that accomplishment of beating both of those games. I've then played them again with mods after the fact with cheats just to have fun. But I also swore to myself that was the last time, unless an amazing game reveals itself. If a game is frustrating and hard and doesn't offer some kind of mitigating feature, I simply don't have the time to mess with it. So that's my approach to games. I love the fact that the business model today, especially for Nintendo, which is a big change, right? Nintendo games used to be very, very challenging. It seems to be a marketing sticking point now for Nintendo, that as of the Switch, I guess this was happening on the Wii U also, that they're including assist modes and helps and things like that to make sure that anybody can complete their games. And this is going to come into play with the third game we're going to talk about today. All that is to say, I love that this is now a business practice that makes the most sense. They can sell more copies of a game, more people can enjoy it. I will always indulge. If a game is good, I'll try it on at least the normal mode. If it's great, I might try the more challenging modes. But I will also enlist any cheat codes or assist modes that help me enjoy and get through the game. There are certain types of games that are just no fun. When I went back and played Cuphead again, after beating it the proper way, I played it with basically a God mode on my Aya Neo, on the Windows handheld that I have, where there was an easy mod to just turn on invincibility. It wasn't as fun. It is true. I'll admit that a game that's built on difficult jumping and shooting and all that, if you take away the ability to get hurt, it's still a fun world to move around in. It's still fun, but I can't see bothering to play the whole game that way. So back to Disney's Illusion Island. This game is incredibly easy, and I'm only a few hours into it, but I'm having a great time. I am a Disney fan. I am a huge Donald Duck fan. He's my guy. So the fact that you can play as Donald, this is made to be a co-op game. You can play as the Fab Four. Pluto is not here. But you can be Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, or Donald, and they all have slightly different abilities, but essentially it's built so that if you do play solo or without all four characters, you can still get through the various levels of the game. So I'm playing as Donald Duck. It is not challenging, but it is interesting enough to keep playing. We'll see if I make it to the end, but this is my soft recommendation. Kids would enjoy this, but if you enjoy Disney or you like colorful animation, this game so far, again 4 or 5 hours in, is consistently interesting, visually interesting enough, and the mechanics, it is a typical Metroidvania in that you start off with like just a regular jump, and then you get a double jump, and then you get a wall jump, and you start adding abilities that let you go further and explore farther. So yeah, it's good. Check it out if you want to, or don't. See if I care. Next up is Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons. Love when the same word appears twice in a title. That's always a great practice. This is another indie game, modern, take on a classic franchise. I think it's been a good long time, maybe a decade or so since there was a Double Dragon game. So this is a fighting game, but it's not your traditional versus arcade style fighting game. This would be like a scrolling, what would be called a beat 'em up game. And this is a popular genre as of late. About 10 years ago, we got the Scott Pilgrim game, which was a pixel art scrolling beat 'em up. More recently, of course, there is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which is a huge hit game, an awesome game. And so this is the revival of a franchise that I don't have a lot of experience with. I do have Double Dragon games on my little emulation handhelds that I showed in another video, and they're fun, they're good, I like them. I don't play them from beginning to end. It's the kind of thing you just drop into and you play for 10 minutes, 20 minutes here and there. What distinguishes this new one, however, is that it's we're gonna get into some more buzzwords here, folks, more video game marketing buzzwords. This one has roguelike elements, or is it roguelite? I cannot distinguish between the two. I don't know. I'm the wrong guy to get too specific on this, but essentially a roguelike or roguelite game is a game that has a loop of gameplay, meaning that it has levels that you play, and it's designed to play those levels over and over again, sometimes with increased stats or increased abilities. Well, and this is a hybrid game because it does have just 5 designed levels, and you play those levels over and over again. They're not randomly generated. But the difference is, depending on which one you choose first, you can start on any level you want to begin with, and it's an easy version of that level. And then if you do well, you pick another one, and then it's going to be beefed up. So in the narrative of the game, all the other gangs that you're going up against are beefing up their fortifying their defenses and all that, so that by the time you get to that 5th one, that final boss, it's going to be really tough. But if and you probably won't make it on your first try, but the idea is that if you do it enough times, you'll be so beefed up that you will. I do not love roguelike games. The best one that exists is a game called Hades. There's another similar one called Dead Cells, which is also excellent. And these are games that just have so much going on and are so well done that you don't mind playing the same levels over and over again, because things like your abilities or your weapons or your upgrades can change so dramatically that, and in the case of Hades, they found a way to tell us a compelling story over the course of several runs. That's what makes that game successful. This game, in my opinion, does not need to be a roguelike. The Double Dragon Gaiden, it should have just been 5 or 6 levels, and you play them and they're fun. It's not bad. I really like the game and I'm recommending it. I'm just saying that I have found the roguelike aspect to be maybe the least interesting. In terms of assist mode, though, there are some really nice accessibility features in this game, and you can choose to really sweeten it up and make it easier. It will still compound the difficulty as you go, but just based on where you start and how easy you want it to be. So I found that if I nerf everything and make the game as easy as possible from the beginning, it still gets pretty challenging by that 5th level. All right, finally, and I saved the best for last. There is a first-party Nintendo game that came out this year, which is probably going to be on a lot of Game of the Year lists. And I did purchase that game, but I have not opened it and played it yet, and it's not the game I'm going to talk about now. That game is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That game is daunting. It is huge. I'm scared to start it. It's going to probably be a few years before I'm going to let other people write the guides, figure everything out, make the videos, and then I'm going to go and I'll have help when I try, because I am overwhelmed and daunted. Breath of the Wild, the prequel, the previous game in the Zelda series on Switch, is one of the best games I've ever played. I talked about it in the previous video. It's wonderful. I know Tears of the Kingdom is going to be great, but it's not my game of the year because I'm not going to play it this year. Tipping my hat to my experience with this game, though, this of course would be Pikmin 4. A game that has been over a decade, maybe more than that, maybe 14, 15 years in the making, in a series with which I have very little experience, except for trying the previous game, 3, which was re-released on the Switch as Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and failing, tapping out, because it was too frustrating. So this is a cute and cozy kind of a management game where you have these little flower creatures called Pikmin, and you're this little space traveler from, in this weird Nintendo created universe, and you're basically going through yards, and in this new game through houses, homes, and you're finding treasures, which are just items that are mundane to our world, but look like these sparkly treasures to these little alien people, and you're fighting creatures and managing your resources. So it's a strategy game, which to me is typically a genre that I would stay away from. When I think strategy games, I usually think of grid-based tactics games and things like that, which are not my bag. But in this case, it's a very unique type of management strategy game in a cozy environment. So the reason that this new game has really hit for me in a way that 3 did not is that, again, being a current generation Nintendo game, it is, I don't know if there's any other way to say it than nerfed, but to me that's not a negative thing. They've made this game so playable. They've put a whole bunch of safety nets and features, and you can rewind time. There are some really hard challenges where if you don't complete the challenge, you can just have one of the other characters just do it for you. You have to try it once, but once you've done it, then you can have someone else do it. So that, to some people, that may sound blasphemous, and you can make this game hard. You don't have to get the help. You don't have to rewind time. You can make this game challenging. But for me, the thing that drove me crazy about previous Pikmin games was the time limit. And you have these adorable little Pikmin creatures, and you're throwing them at you have to test things to see what works. And if 30 of your Pikmin die and you see those little ghosts float up, that's devastating. Or if you didn't get the food you need to keep staying alive, which is a feature they've removed from this new one as well. I just found the world of Pikmin is so alluring, but my experience with number 3 was such that it was so there was so much anxiety, it was so stressful that I had to bail. Now, I had such a great time with this game, and I have rolled credits on it. There is end game, post game stuff which I'm still doing, and it does get significantly more challenging, but you still have all those safety nets. So, but I have completed this game as far as the main story is concerned, and I had such a great time with it. Not only is this likely to be my game of the year, it also has me excited to go back and try 3 again. We'll see how that goes. But also, they've re-released the first 2 Pikmin games for Switch, and they're coming out on a physical cartridge, I think September or October. So I'm going to go for it, and I'm probably going to be frustrated because they do not have all of the assist modes and things, but it's just a world that I have fallen in love with, and I can't wait for more of it. So that's what I'm playing right now. A couple of fun diversions, which I could probably take or leave, but I'm enjoying them. And then possibly my game of the year with Pikmin 4. Thank you for your time. I will be back soon to talk about more stuff. Tell me what you're playing in the comments. I'd love to know. I'm always playing a pile of stuff. I also have my PlayStation stack at the moment, which I'm playing, so maybe I'll talk about that separately, or maybe I'll dive into some other topic. But this was fun. I'm glad I got to dive into some of my picadillos, my little rants about why I'm pro easy mode, and also why the nomenclature, the marketing techno babble of video games drives me crazy. But hopefully I was able to break some of these things down in a helpful way. Thanks for watching. I will see you some other time. Josh out.